just love being controversial. I love just being me. Love me or hate me. Why does it matter what you say about me? Because it ain't true. I'm in a situation now where, you know, I fight for the WBC world title, or I fight for, you know, the family legacy. Who else can say their dad's Nigel Benn? Who else can go, my dad's a living legend? You know, because I hold my dad in the highest regard. To me, my dad's my hero. Boxing became my life, and it's everything I want. I live it, I breathe it, I wake up, I think about it.
Welcome to the Ring Magazine podcast. My name is Lewis Hart. Delighted today to join with Conor Benn.
It's been a phenomenal rise. Oh, good 1-2, and he's down!
Left-right combination, and it is all over time. Bob Williams, the referee, counts out the stricken Chris Altieri. Only the second that Conor Benn has faced in his career. Big right hand. So often the best shot against the southpaw. And Van Hurt is badly hurt.
Benn, right in the first round. That is a terrific combination. And he's got Vargas in trouble. Vargas is done. Wow.
Conor, how's things? Good to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Life's a blessing. How are you, mate?
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Obviously, the Ring Magazine podcast. We are here for the Ring today. Yeah, obviously, it's seen its resurgence in 2025 with so much history, and you know, right to talk about yourself with the history that not just yourself but your family has. Yeah, I guess to see it in the position that it's in now, how good is it to see the ring?
As in boxing,
the ring
yeah.
in boxing,
Do you know what? It's mega, and I think the event yesterday was a true testament to how much the Ring Magazine means or is to boxing. In terms of the fighters that were there, you had icons, you had, you know, idols, pound for pound greats, current pound for pound greats, and you know, legends of the sport of boxing all turn up in London for this event. You know, for me as a fighter to be there, it was a blessing to see how much the Ring Magazine means to boxing.
Before touching on the awards, as you say there, it has so much legacy and been going for so long. How important do you think it is for the sport of boxing to have something like that that's so sort of set in stone in the sport?
It's always been set in stone. When you think boxing, you think the Ring Magazine. When you think the Ring Magazine, you think boxing. And you know, I'm really excited to see how it goes under new ownership.
Yeah, and as I say, as a fighter yourself, when you see the Ring Magazine belt and you see that only has to be
it's a dream.
Yeah, I was going to say, how big is that passion where you see it only has to be the only people that can get it is the number one and number two in the division. So it must have so much passion knowing that one day you want to be competing.
Of course it is.
That.
I mean, you have so many world titles, interims, silvers, golds, you know, champions in recess. So when you have the Ring Magazine, it's you know, that's when you know you're the best of the best.
I guess when it does come to history and the memories that you would have had of it, especially with your father and stuff like that, and what were your first memories of the ring, whether it be the bell or you know, the publication? Like, what was your sort of first memories of the ring?
To me, in my head, I just go the greatest, the greatest fighters of that generation, and the best for that title isn't a title that, you know, just comes up, you know, on the off chance. You have to earn every single bit of that belt.
Yeah, definitely. Touching on the Ring Awards there, I've always likened it to like the Oscars of boxing, and a new thing that people can really get involved in. Yourself, you was presenting an award.
Yeah.
I guess, how did you enjoy the Ring Awards and seeing so many different fighters?
Do you know what? The Ring Awards was phenomenal. I was blown away by the attendance of the certain fighters. I mean, I looked up to most of the fighters there. Last night, you know, you had Canelo there, you had Beterbiev there, you had Bivol there, you had I mean, the list goes on. You had Anthony Joshua there, you had so many great fighters there. It just goes to show that boxing is being pulled together. Everybody in that room represents boxing. That was boxing in that room.
Yeah, as I say there, and I've asked a few people today, and when you have a room full of so many different fighters, and there's so much legacy in that room, as a self, do you ever look at like picking the brains or understanding people's mentality, whether it be maybe fighters from the past or so?
Yeah, I was picking Crawford's brains, and just asking him, what's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on that? At the WBC convention in Germany, in Hamburg, I was asking Miguel Cotto, what's your thoughts on this? You want to learn.
Yeah.
You know, the beginning of wisdom is humbleness. Yeah. You know, so you have to be humble in order to learn. And that's you ask questions. You want to know. You know, ego is what stops you from growing and stops you from learning. So, you know, for me, it's why not ask these legends? I'm going to take full advantage of the opportunity.
And in a room like that, obviously, there's a lot of people you look up to, but it's fair to say there's probably a lot of people that you have rivalries with as well. You know, Eubank Jr. being there, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, many different names. When you carry yourself in a room like that, you know, you want to carry yourself and you want to sort of make a stand. Like, what's that mentality like when you are in a room full of all different egos and you're all sort of making your own grade?
Do you know what? For me, it wasn't about that last night. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about him. It wasn't about the fight getting made. It was about the Ring magazine. Yeah. You know, it was a pleasure to be here. It was a pleasure to be invited. It was a pleasure to to present an award. So for me, that was the last thing on my mind last night. Whereas at other events, it was, you know, on smoke. Yeah. But there's a time and place for that. And, you know, last night wasn't that. Yeah, there was a little bit of back and forth with Ryan. Not even back and forth. It was just a little push and shove. That don't hurt nobody.
Yeah. And when it comes to history and legacy, and, you know, you could talk about the Ring magazine, but I guess talking about yourself, do you think you hold it in high regard? Because when everyone looks at your surname and you look at your family, yourself, that's why history and legacy means so much more to you.
Listen, of course, I'm in a situation now where, you know, I fight for the WBC world title, or I fight for, you know, the family legacy, the family feud, the history. You know, so for me, history is important, legacy is important. And for me, I look back and I look at my dad's fights, I look at the career he had, and, you know, I'd want people to look back on my career and go, cool, them Benns can fight. Them Benns, you know, they gave us value for money. Because I'm not here for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. You know, us athletes are all racing against the clock. And for me, that's how I want to be remembered. You know, just a fighter who gave his all, good or bad, wins or loss. You know, I'm not really concerned. I love to fight. And, you know, I want to create history for sure.
And just touch on there about your father and the legacy in itself. You've always been big on this, but you've always been the idea of that fighting is a choice for yourself. You know, like, you know, when you grew up, you wanted to be a fighter, and this is what you wanted to do. As you say, you are your father's son. How much more dangerous do you think that makes you when, you know, this is a choice where some people obviously got no choice, but do you think it makes you more dangerous knowing that you chose to do this?
Yeah, of course. You know what? I look at myself and I look at my siblings, and it's very evident and clear to see that I am not like the rest in terms of, I just switch it on and off. You know, it's like I was born for this. Yeah. I didn't plan on being a fighter. I wasn't raised a fighter. I wasn't, what you see now wasn't who I was. I just sort of become this fighter and love the game, and boxing became my life, and it's everything I want. I live it, I breathe it, I wake up, I think about it. I go to sleep, I think about it. Mm-hmm. You know, so for me, yeah, of course it makes me dangerous. I mean, I don't have to fight. I ain't got to get up and run at 4 a.m. Yeah. I ain't got to get up and, you know, spar hard. I ain't got to get up and, I choose to. I could be living in Australia stress-free right now with my family. Yeah. But I choose violence every day of the week.
And when you talk about the name Conor Benn, you want to form your own name, but it's definitely fair to say, as you say about the surname, and there's always that saying, and I spoke to your trainer Tony Sins about it, saying that the apple don't fall far from the tree. And I think it's fair to say, like, was there a point when you realised, you know, I am my father's son, like, I have them similar sort of tendencies, I guess, and, you know, you embrace that in the sense that you are sort of be likened to your dad, but be your mentality or so.
Listen, who else can say their dad's Nigel Benn?
Yeah.
Who else can go, my dad's a living legend? Mm-hmm. Who else can go? So if I'm half the man, quarter of the man my dad is, I'll be a very happy kid. I'll be a very happy son, a very happy man. You know, because I hold my dad in the highest regard. To me, my dad's my hero. Like, I mean, I love my dad. I can't put it into words. You know, and I tell my dad all the time how much I love him, because I wouldn't be where I am without you.
And it's probably a question you've got quite a lot, but when it comes to like growing up and your dad being so loved in the UK and worldwide in the boxing fraternity, what was that like growing up? Like, I guess in day-to-day life?
My dad was just my dad to me, mate. I grew up abroad. I lived in Mallorca for 12 years, and then we moved to Sydney, Australia for 5 years at a time. And my dad was just dad. There was no Nigel Benn. There was no The Dark Destroyer. My dad was just my dad. He sold his belts to charity, never spoke about his career really. So yeah, my dad was just my dad, majority of my life.
When did you recognise though that there is like this legacy there that's saying like, wow, like was there ever a point where you really like, because this is like, I don't know whether you watch highlights or whatever it may be, when you be like, wow, like he was something special.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably 22, 23 was when I really started going, yeah, like you're the man.
Yeah.
When I really started to realise the legacy he left was around 22, 23, where I was like, yeah, you really are a bad man.
Do you think you had that mentality switch?
I just wanted to do the best I could.
Mm-hmm.
When I first turned professional, I didn't know how far I'd go. I didn't know what my potential was. I didn't know where the ceiling was at in terms of developments in my career. But I just thought to myself, let's see how far we can go. Let's just see. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not? Let's just run it and see like where we go with this. And I'm happy I ran that risk. Obviously, there was a lot of scrutiny, a lot of hate, a lot of jealousy, a lot of envious people of my career and who felt like I had an advantage or felt like I had the easy route. But the reality is, you sort of learn to just not care. You sort of learn to just do what you love to do. And that's the way you have to be in life. Like, there's going to be risks. There's going to be, upsets. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be... The whole point of life is that. It's not all going to be smooth sailing. And I think for me, fighting, it brings me peace.
When people talk about the easy route, and when you put the hard graft in, when you would put, like you still do, but especially early in your career, when you put the hard graft in, when you put in that hard graft in, was there anything that gave you like a bit of a chip on your shoulder, saying like, look at this graft I'm putting in, and like people still want to discredit me?
I've always got a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah, but like even more so then.
About whatever it is.
Yeah.
Back then it was like, I was angry. I mean, I'm still angry, but I was like really angry. And listen, whatever gets me going.
Yeah.
If that gets me out of bed at 4 a.m, if that gets me training, doing an extra rep, if that gets me doing an extra round, so be it.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think. Why is he so angry all the time? Why is he like this all the time? I don't really care what you think. If I'm like that and that's what gets me going, that's what gets me going.
Yeah.
If I think you said this about me, or if I think you think that about me, but that's what gets me out of bed, then so be it. I'll do that 10 times over.
Do you think, as you say, you've grown that, when it comes to that mentality of like not caring about the outside noise, do you think that's something that has that grown over time?
Yeah, definitely. Because when I first turned pro, it really like infuriated me. It really like just, painted my heart black, where it was like to the point where I was just like, I don't have to do this. Do you understand that? Like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
If you were me, you wouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you tell me that I'm silver spoon?
Yeah.
When I'm doing the hardest sport in the world by choice.
Yeah.
Not because I come from the mud. Not because I ain't got nothing. Because I love to fight.
Mm-hmm.
How are you hating me? But you sort of then realise people just aren't happy with themselves. Yeah. But social media is the minority and it just takes time. Whereas now I'm like, I just love being controversial. I love the adversity. I love just being me. Love me or hate me. Imagine somebody you don't know or people you don't know making you change who you are when you don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
What? Do you get that?
Yeah, yeah.
So imagine I'm going to change who I am because you don't like me, but I don't even know who you are. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That don't make no sense. I don't care. Think what you want. I don't even know your name, fella.
Yeah. Do you, just briefly touch on it, do you think you've realised that more over the past couple of years with obviously...
Definitely the past couple of years, whereas now I'm like, listen, say whatever you want. Yeah. Say whatever you want. Come at me with it. It changes nothing.
Yeah.
It changes absolutely nothing. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because I'm undefeated.
Yeah.
I'm undefeated. I'm still here. I'm still living and breathing. I've got 2 beautiful kids at home. Got a beautiful house. Got a roof over my kids' head. My kids go to a lovely school. Do you know what I mean? Done. That's it. Why does it matter what you say about me?
Yeah.
Because it ain't true.
Mm-hmm.
Do Do you know what I mean? I don't care what people say about me as long as it ain't true. I don't care. But I feel like it's like you have to in life learn to understand whatever it is, you won't please anybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people hating on you right now.
Yeah.
Maybe on a minor scale, but it's all relevant to the individual.
Yeah.
You probably get some people in the comments going, "Oh, this guy's a arrogant prick. Look, what does he think he?" I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, I've had a few. Yeah,
exactly.
It's not
That's what I'm saying.
you don't care, like. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you may do now, but trust me, you'll get to a stage where it's like, I don't even know who you are, mate. While you're out here killing it, interviewing some of the best fighters in the world for the Ring podcast, you sit there and you go, well, the reality is I'd rather be me than you any day of the week. So fire away. Keep them coming. Come on. Keep them coming.
I guess more in a sense though, like when it comes to like maybe even the inside of boxing, regardless of like social media, like whether it be like people sort of you thought you trusted inside, like was that ever difficult to deal with, like turning on you? Like
of course, I had to put it on a few people yesterday because I'm like, they had the same thing with another fighter, and I'm sitting there going, we're one of your own. Yeah. Do you understand? Yeah. We're one of your own people. Back your own every day of the week, twice on Sundays. We do this for you. We represent the country, and you see it time and time again. And I think fighters who come on, or athletes even, think they're naive in thinking it will never be them. They're naive in thinking it will never be me. The reality is, highly likely your time's coming where you're going to go up against it, where you're going to face adversity. Everyone's going to write you off. You've made a mistake. You can't be human. You can't be perfect. But the reality is, nobody's perfect. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? I ain't no saint. I ain't no role model. I do the best I can. And that's good enough for me.
So like when people say, look, Conor Benn may owe this to the British public, that to the British public.
I owe nothing to nobody.
As you say, you don't agree with that.
I owe diddly squat to anybody. Nada. Nothing. I owe nothing to nobody. Nothing to nobody.
Yeah. Everything
I've done to this stage is for myself and for my family. Because you know what my legacy is? My legacy is my kids. That's my legacy. So I'm going to make sure everything I do for them again and give them a heads up in life. Give them a head start. Anybody that says I owe them nothing, I owe you absolutely nothing. I don't even know your name.
Yeah. And how important is, as you say, when you talk about sort of family and legacy and as well touching on yourself, you talk about being a God-fearing man and your dad being that as well. And when you put all them things into one, how much do you think that builds you as a character and as a man?
Listen, faith was a hard one for me. With everything that had gone on, my faith was the first thing to go, which breaks my heart now because I've always been raised a God-fearing man. But I couldn't understand. And sometimes God gives you battles that some days you never understand but realise you didn't know you needed. So for me, I feel strengthened, I feel resilient, I feel strong, I feel wiser. I feel very different now than I would 2 years ago before I went through what I went through. Yeah. But it took me time to process it. But I am a God-fearing man. My whole career, my whole family is based on faith. Everything I do is based on faith. I'm a man of faith and I'm a man who prays. Prayer is what gets me through. I've made my mistakes. I ain't preaching. Yeah. We all have our demons. Prayer is what gets me through, because without prayer, I would be broken.
Do you think that's something you want to pass through to your children as well?
Of course,
as you say,
my kids are kids of faith. I pray with my kids all the time. Yeah. And with God, you can do anything if it's God's will.
Yeah, absolutely. Conor, it's been a pleasure to speak to you today. I really appreciate you having you in the chair, and all the best for the future, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Man. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Top man. Thank you.